Good thing I packed unlimited.
This is Bloodshed. We're here on Xbox Series X. Be sure to like the video. Subscribing is great as well. So what we've got here appears to be another one of those auto shooter roguelite merged with retro visual aesthetic games. So it's a survivors-like design where you're going around in this old school environment across a selection of different maps and setups, blasting foes and trying to see just how long you can last. There's lots of different chapters within acts that you do in this where you attempt to see how long you can kind of go to complete the objectives, and then there's different levels of challenge and character and whatnot that you can play as. So you're facing the malevolent threat of the cult, whose members are pursuing a sinister plan to resurrect an ancient being to bring back or bring about the apocalypse. Different challenges, different setups. Cultists, demons, the undead, and other creatures of the night will be your threats in this. Boasts a diverse roster of playable characters with distinct abilities, personalities, and styling. Lots of different weapons and things to unleash. Dual pistols in this economy? Oh, you know it. You know, I actually quite like the aesthetic and the vibe they got going on for this game. It's kind of really cool. Seriously, like, it actually looks kind of neat. Now, I am kind of finding that there is frequently a lot of this type of bloodthirsty ticks. There is frequently this sort of game is popping up more and more often, where I'm sort of like, I would have liked this aesthetic, but just in like a regular old school throwback boomer shooter style would have been really, really cool, but I don't know. I guess this is what they were going for. But yeah, you kind of fight against the hordes. There's some different mode type things in the game's menus as well that you can do if you want to mix things up, which is kind of exciting. But yeah, it's pretty straightforward. Like, we're sitting here trying to, I guess you would say, survive and see how long you can go with them, kind of these like set environments and stuff. And you know, there's only so much, I guess you would say, room in that you can kind of go through, if that makes sense. Like, there's yeah, it's like preset in what it's trying to provide gameplay wise, but it's kind of neat. But also very, very straightforward. It's a neat, you know what, honestly, it's kind of a neat genre, this whole survivors-like thing. I'm sort of shocked we didn't have more games like this back in the day, because it seems like a pretty easy concept. In other formats, I would call it a twin-stick shooter minus the twin-stick, but it's sort of like, yeah, it's just kind of an auto shooter where you're just sort of moving around trying to aim. It kind of reminds me of, because I was playing House of the Dead 2 remake recently, it kind of reminds me of those on-rail shooters, but you get like a little bit more freedom. It's almost something like you would play in an arcade, if that makes sense, these types of games. At least this one's got some level of distinct personality and vibe to it. Like, I definitely think it's got a cool look going on for what it's trying to provide. So on the Series X here, oh wow, there's a lot of enemies. It's like 1600p at 60 FPS, and there's some options you can choose in the graphics: bloom, vignette, film grain, ambient occlusion, pixelization level. These are the default things, but other than that, it's pretty straightforward. There's like some accessibility stuff like your FOV. Well, I don't know why FOV gets put under accessibility, honestly, but you know, I thought I would kind of showcase that and mention it. But otherwise, yeah, it's pretty straightforward in what the game is and what it's trying to be. You just kind of go and blast and shoot things. It seems like it took about a year or so for everybody to start kind of doing their own spin on this style of gameplay, if that makes sense, because there have been so many games similar to this recently. All stemming from the Vampire Survivors concept. Makes you wonder what kind of new genre we're gonna eventually get in video games down the road. You know, when they, I don't know if you call this innovating, but kind of coming up with new twists on older gameplay formats, if that makes sense, is always interesting. Wait, did these things respawn? Wow. I definitely love the visual vibe of this.
New skills, more carnage. Let's roll.
Yeah, it's literally like an arcade. It's literally something you'd find in an arcade back in the day.
So many cultists, so little remorse.
We did it. High fives all around. Like, it is interesting too that it's like kind of missions, if that makes sense, as opposed to just surviving. For these types of games, I always thought it was more about the idea of surviving. Lord of the Banishments. Anyways, I just kind of want to show off the setup here, so I guess that's not really much to show. In the menu thing here, there's a lot of stuff. Yeah, there's like objectives, collections, upgrades you can do. Nothing that I can buy, I guess. And then, yeah, so there's episodes, and then here's the, yeah, the different stuff. Survive for 20 minutes? That's a long time. I can buy Jared. Jared, you're in.
To see how many of y'all can dance with the
and you can turn off auto shooting, so that's something too, I guess. I suppose that would make it feel more like a traditional kind of shooter.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, dying time.
Yeah, I guess there is something about a shooter game though, where you take away having to click to shoot. It kind of, you know, changes things up a bit. Wait, am I just stuck with this over to the? Oh, there we go. I was gonna be like, wow, we're just gonna do melee instead of the guns at a distance. I was like, that's not as smart. In 20 minutes, eh? That's a while. But I guess turning it into like chapters and story kind of adds a little bit of a layering of, you know, different challenge to it.
It's the sound of inevitability. It's the sound of your death.
Anybody else want a piece of this? I know, this is like perfectly serviceable gameplay wise though. I guess in theory you could just chill around for a bit unless something comes and attacks you, right? You really gotta move around, there's like 20 minutes, but eventually they come for you. Why don't they just do a countdown timer? It's kind of weird to do like a count up timer or whatever. It's kind of a cool looking fish creature. I like to see this with like a old school shooter story thing would be kind of cool. This sort of style. Dual pistols. It's just more action-packed, ain't it? What about dual shotguns? That's what I was actually kind of hoping for. Really wanted that akimbo shotgun style going on. Wow, there are a lot of these sorcerer kind of guys. They're all pretty meaty enemies. Definitely a lot less cannon fodder-esque, I'll tell you that much. At least here I know they can't get behind me. Wow, there's a lot of enemies here. I don't know if my gun shoots effectively enough to, like, actually do enough damage against these guys.
Next time you hurt me, you better kill me.
I will say the level of complexity here has increased tremendously, and I am all for it. There were actually like a lot of enemies roaming around here. I feel like that smart bomb didn't really smartly reach over here, eh? Cool, there's like an ability that gives you like an insta-kill or something for a limited time. Kind of like zombie power-ups. How many shots these guys take? Ridiculous. Oh, the thing explodes with area damage? Maybe the shotgun is the way. That's a terrible time to not have been reloaded. What I really need is some health. I could really use some health. That's where I keep going to all the pillars that I'm hoping eventually I'll get like a health potion from them. I think I'm supposed to survive. Ow.
Damn it, I'm dying.
I guess I wasn't supposed to survive. The relic bestiary is now available. But how does that help me against these monsters? I don't even know if you could really hide anywhere strategically.
I'm in a killing mood tonight. Reckon I'm always in a killing mood. If you're gonna play the game, boy, you gotta play it right.
The elusive spider. Cool. Yeah, it feels like there's almost not enough like lower tier enemies to really get. Oh, an Uzi. That should help. A burst fire Uzi? Bring it on.
Lay a finger on me and I'll take it from you.
The other guys seemingly have unlimited Uzi ammo now that I'm thinking of it. That's how these games work, but it is kind of funny. Like, does he not have to stop and reload? Actually, I guess I do stop and reload. It's like, let's have a really big clip. Maybe I've got like a satchel with like limitless bullets. I mean, it's definitely not a bad gameplay concept. Now, is that damage infliction actually like for your bullets, or is that just if you do melee?
Whatever happens, I'll still be killing by the end of it.
It's basically just a zombie survivor or zombie vampire survivor thing. Interesting. The hardest part of these games is always when you like die or restart a level and you have to like go back to your gameplay mechanics being slower or whatnot for the next time until you build it up again.
Mighty kind of you to donate all them experience orbs.
I will say this isn't bad though if you like this type of game. It's actually pretty well done. I'm decently impressed by it.